What is going on, guys, and welcome to a brand new video. Today we're going to be breaking down why Arc Warden has a 52.67% win rate. Hopefully you guys do enjoy. If you guys do, leave a comment down below and also consider subscribing and joining the Dota Chronicles community. Now, Arc Warden is one of the strongest mid laners in this current meta. He's also a pretty decent carry. I'd say he's a better mid laner than he is a carry right now, just because how volatile the side lanes can go. And Arc Warden is very dependent on his farm and his XP, and if your lane goes bad from the safe lane, you can have a lot of issues, but in the mid lane you can kind of control a lot better tempo. And if you decide to play active, you should be using the Vessel build, which is Vessel, Boots, Midas into Gleipnir, and then going for Manta and Hurricane Pike. So pretty much kind of like a magic build, but may I recommend you guys get a Windlace if you guys are going to be playing the Vessel route, just because this hero is so freaking slow that you guys really need this Windlace. It's going to be absolutely fantastic, especially if they have a lot of fast mobile heroes. That Windlace is going to help you be a little bit speedier in terms of you positioning better on the map, which is another thing you need to keep in mind when you guys are playing Arc Warden. Your positioning needs to be absolutely on point, because if you get caught off guard, you're going to die pretty much every single time. This hero is not strong when it comes to being defensive. He is very, very good when it comes to being aggressive. So if you have all your spark raids and your flux and you're in a really good position, it's going to be really difficult to kill the Arc Warden, especially if you have your clone. But if you have none of those and you're in a really bad spot and you're facing up against, let's say, a Lycan or an Ember or heroes of this nature, you're going to have a lot of issues and you're pretty much going to die. So consider using the Windlace. And Vessel is a really good buildup, because if you spawn the clone while having Vessel charges, the clone is also going to have that same amount of Vessel charges. So essentially, if you have 2 on your main hero, the clone is going to spawn with 2, so you're going to be able to use both of them. So essentially you have 4, so you double up your Vessel charges. That is one of the reasons why it's really good. It also works very well with Flux, so it's a lot of damage when you pair those 2. And then if you land a Spark Wraith, it's going to be difficult for supports to be living up against that much damage. And the next build is going to be your classic Midas into Boots of Travels, getting a Gleipnir, Bloodthorn, Butterfly, and pretty much anything you may need. You can get a BKB, you can get a Silver Edge as well, you can get a Desolator. There's a lot of items this hero can get, and there's also a lot of support Arc Warden builds, which are typically going to be with Tranquil Boots into the Urn and Solar Crest and a Force Staff and maybe a Glimmer. And I have seen quite a bit of support Arc Warden. I don't think it's very reliable, as the laning stage for Arc Warden can be a little bit difficult, but if you're playing up against very passive heroes, I think it can be quite well. But if they have very aggressive heroes, let's say a Techies or maybe a Pudge, and heroes of this nature, maybe a Tusk, you're going to be in a lot of issues when they're able to bridge the gap and go onto you, especially as a support. You're extremely squishy, so it can be very volatile if you are going to be playing support Arc Warden. But overall, Arc Warden provides your team with damage and control, especially when you're building that Hex and that Gleipnir. That extra control is going to help you win some extra team fights. And also, Magnetic Field is underrated. It is a pretty decent ability. It's not something you need in the early game, but in the late game, it can be really good for defending towers. It could also be really good from protecting your heroes from physical damage coming in from range heroes. So it could always be very, very beneficial for you guys to place it in a good spot. Now we're going to be breaking down some of the best and the worst matchups for Arc Warden. So the best matchups are Doom, Templar Assassin, Necrophos, Viper, and Silencer. These matchups are typically very good for you because these heroes don't really have a whole lot of mobility to be able to catch you, and that is the number one thing Arc Warden suffers against, is high mobility heroes or just a lot of heroes that can spawn units. Then you're going to be having issues with that. But if they're mostly single target heroes that are quite slow and don't really have a lot of catch, then you're always going to have a really good time, especially against Templar Assassin. Your Flux is really good against her, and Doom as well, and also Necrophos and Viper. Viper, you need to be very careful again on positioning. If your positioning is bad against the Viper, you will lose that matchup. You have an advantage against the hero, but Viper is a really strong hero in the meta, so you need to be very careful on how you play this matchup. And I think the Vessel build is pretty much the best way to go against the Viper. You're going to be doing a lot of damage to the hero, and if you get a support rotation, it's going to be free Vessel charges. So make sure you keep your lead against the hero like Viper, because you will get kicked out of lane quite quickly, so you need to be very careful with that. Now, some of the bad matchups are Meepo, Naga Siren, Lycan, Broodmother, Beastmaster, Phantom Lancer. Pretty much any illusion hero or heroes that have units like Beastmaster or Lycan, they're just gonna run over this hero. This hero, even with a Gleipnir, just doesn't have nearly enough attack speed and wave shove to be able to take care of a bunch of illusions and a bunch of meta zoo heroes. He just doesn't have enough in the tank. Maybe in the ultra late game, if you end up getting there, you could do a little bit better once you have a ton of attack speed and such. But other than that, you're going to be struggling most of the time. So it's just matchups you shouldn't be playing Arc Warden into. But what do you guys think about Arc Warden? I know some of you guys in the comments are big Arc Warden players. Definitely let me know what tips you guys would give. I am definitely trying to pick up Arc Warden more often, and I'm trying to play it. And it is a very difficult hero. It's one of the hardest heroes in Dota to play. So I definitely want to play my Arc Warden at a much higher level. So if you guys are Arc Warden spammers and you guys want to give me any really intense tips, definitely let me know in the comments below, and I will greatly appreciate it, as I'm always trying to pick up new heroes and trying to learn how to play the game better, as we all are. Hopefully you guys enjoy the video. I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.